I will tell you all something, all right? It is going to be a cold day in hell when Xbox puts on a bad summer showcase at this rate. If these last two showcases during the summer were anything to go by. 2023 summer showcase for Xbox, I've said it multiple times, was one of the best I'd ever seen. Spoke to a lot of my tastes, lots of my sensibilities, right? The JRPGs were there in full force. You had Starfield. It was definitely like a Matty-coded showcase. This year, I was expecting less Matty stuff, and to walk out of it going, again, wow, that was one of the best showcases that I've ever seen, just by the sheer volume of content, the pace, the quality of things, and many titles way over delivering on expectations. I was thrilled with this showcase stepping out of it, not only for that content and that quality, Xbox also targeting very good third-party partners for this showcase, and on top of that, doing what I was hoping they would do, which is targeting insecurities with particular games and statements from the leadership team. So, hey, hats off. Look, this was another fantastic showcase from Xbox this summer. Let's not delay and dive straight into the full breakdown here. Now, really the first gameplay trailer shown off was Black Ops 6, but since we have the developer direct afterwards, we'll talk about that at the end. Let's right now just take a deep focus on Doom: The Dark Ages, which to me was really the show opener. This is releasing in 2025. We pretty much got Doom now with Captain America's shield, except you can slice dudes in half with it, except it's not like Marvel Zombies where he actually does that kind of stuff, but this was awesome. So now Doom Guy has all of this movement tech from Eternal, except he can parry and he can throw his shield, and we saw him targeting weaknesses, and not only that, you can ride dragons in this game. Oh my god, like absolutely when I heard Medieval Doom in that leak, I went, this has to be amazing. They have to be cooking with something here. And they definitely are. So Doom: The Dark Ages looks as fantastic as it did in my head, and I am pumped to get back in that universe. I've been playing a little bit of Doom recently for a Retro Rebound video, and what a phenomenal series. And Eternal is just on a whole other level. So to see them carrying all those tricks and tools into a new Doom game in 2025 is very exciting. They didn't show it during the showcase, but this is coming to PlayStation, so it is going to be a multi-platform launch, but also day one in Game Pass. Afterwards, we see State of Decay 3, and this was actually gameplay. No release date, unfortunately, something that I think is a bit of a trend in this showcase, but I'll get into why I think this may be the case for certain titles. This is what I talk about when I say Xbox had to target the insecurities. A lot of us just want to know, with specific titles in specific scenarios, what's going on. Perfect Dark being one, and State of Decay 3 being the other. And that's because both these games haven't really had a chance to show themselves and have only been mired in reports from the press. But what was shown off for both these games, especially when we talk about Perfect Dark, oh man. But State of Decay 3, as someone who really loved the first one, played a decent amount of the second one, what a step up in graphics, what a step up in production values, and really this is a systems-driven game, so I'm curious to see how they do all of that. I can understand if someone walked away from this going, like, why should I care about State of Decay? But if you know what 1 and 2 are, and you see the fidelity here, and the gameplay, which looked pretty sharp when it was briefly shown off, I think when you combine that with the systems that will undoubtedly be placed in the State of Decay 3, this game should be very good. No release date makes me think that maybe they're a little hesitant to commit to 2025, and they should give themselves the abundance of time they need, just like other teams have got. But yeah, I thought that State of Decay 3 looked really good. Afterwards, we got to lay eyes on Dragon Age: The Veilguard, and look, as a massive Dragon Age fan, I'm going to try to remain patient here to wait for my final verdict with the gameplay, but let's just put it this way. I don't have enough time in this video to really get into all my thoughts on this trailer and the style, but Too Long Didn't Read is, it's not at all what I was anticipating, and I'm hoping this is just not a great reveal trailer. But like I said, I have so much to say on this one. We will be making a separate video on the topic. We'll talk about Dragon Age separately, not only with its gameplay, but I didn't think I'd be walking away from this reveal trailer with like added thoughts. But well, again, we'll get into it. But yeah, just not really tonally what I was expecting. I was not anticipating the Marvelification of Dragon Age in this trailer. Again, hoping it's just not the best trailer. But we'll, again, talk about it tomorrow. So I'll see you there for that video. Let's move on to the next game. We got Starfield Shattered Space, which is just coming 2024. No release date for that. And they also dropped new content tonight, new locations, new gear, new bounties. The creation kit is available. Creations are available in the game as well. This is what I'm talking about. This comeback is gonna be sick. I'm telling y'all, it's gonna be sick because I've always been a believer in Starfield, but look at that. In 2 months, we got 2 major content additions here. I think it was really wise to drop it now for the people who went, hey, Shattered Space looks good. Here's all this content right here, right now. New locations, I don't know how many there are, all right? So I don't want to clap too hard because I have yet to test it out myself. We'll talk about it later in the week. But look, new locations is a great sign that they're listening to feedback. New bounties, getting us to different parts of the galaxy. Creation Kit is going to go a long way with this game. Hear me now. And Shattered Space, wait, hold on. This looked really gritty, really serious, focusing on, as expected, House Faroon. I thought this looked way better, but darker than I expected, right? There was a curiosity and openness to Starfield when it was being marketed. The inclining music always kind of guiding you to seek what's out there, what's beyond the stars, right? Well, now we're about to find out, and it seems pretty dark. So I'll just say this, get that main story under your belt because you may have some questions you're asking if you checked out this trailer without finishing Starfield up. But it looks like Bethesda is committing to a lot of meaningful updates for Starfield, and I'm very keen to learn more about Shattered Space because this seemed more like a story trailer. Didn't get an idea of like new locations that we'll be exploring, but again, more dark than I expected. And afterwards, I can imagine many of you had the same feeling I did. You see Vault-Tec and you go, oh, but quickly, I've been through this so many times. I was like, this is 76. It's got to be. Because as I mentioned in my predictions video, I just wasn't feeling Fallout 3 Remaster this year. It didn't make sense for the timeline based on what we saw with the FTC leak and how everything had been delayed for 2 years. So maybe next year is a little more realistic for Fallout 3, or more likely, I would say, Oblivion stepping in first as sort of the template, since that's supposed to be arriving sooner according to said leak. So we'll talk about that as well separately, like where's the remasters for Bethesda. Again, I have a lot of videos planned based off these showcases. You know how we roll. We go rapid fire every day for a long while, and then we gradually cool off. But Fallout 76, look, I'm not the biggest fan of it, as many of you know. I've been enjoying it a little bit more, but Skyline Valley is the first update since Wastelanders that I saw and went, I'm so excited. I really don't want to do any deep dives, heavy analysis of this update. I want to be surprised by it. It's coming out June 12th, and they confirmed you can play as a ghoul in 2025. This is actually sick because not only did they confirm this, but in a separate post, they mentioned that if you play as a ghoul, like you can't work with the Brotherhood of Steel, which kind of stinks for new players. But I think this is awesome because this has been a big request, and it's the first time we can play as a ghoul since the top-down action RPG beat 'em up Fallout Brotherhood of Steel. Yes, really, it's been that long. And there were like rumored Fallout MMOs where you could play as a human or a super mutant or as a ghoul, and that just opens up a world of possibilities. If they're going to explore playable races, who else you can play as in Fallout 76. So I hope they go crazy with this. I would love to be able to play as a super mutant, bring in a separate super mutant faction that you could ally with. Like that stuff would make 76 so unique beyond the explorable locations. Nonetheless, Skyline Valley up first, June 12th. Very excited for the future of 76. That was a great thing to announce as a diehard Fallout fan. And the good times continue on. We get this game, Expedition 33, day one on Game Pass, 2025. When you first see this, at least when I was in my Discord call with my buddies watching this, we were all like, you know, kind of looking like action RPG, probably looks a little inspired by games like The Order 1886, might remind us a bit of Immortals of Avium. We were so wrong. It's a turn-based RPG. This game looks wild. It's amazing how you can flip a game on its head. Like if it was an action game, I probably would have been like, all right, looks cool. Not really out of my seat for it. The fact that it had that production value, that high quality, and it was turn-based, this reminds me of how I felt about Persona, like that these turn-based games can have insane production values. And so Expedition 33 looked at emotion, grit, cool looking characters. I'm interested in the time period. I want to learn more. I want to play more. This game looked awesome. Give me more of that. And a day one Game Pass get, sign me up. All over this one. Afterwards, we got South of Midnight with a gameplay debut. This one's also coming 2025. I imagine a lot of these coming 2025 titles are going to be developer direct targets. So thinking games like Fable, which got a 2025 date, South of Midnight, which got a 2025 date. I think these will be top of the year 2025 targets for a developer direct. But nonetheless, South of Midnight, okay. I mean, I had high expectations because I think Compulsion has a really unique energy to them. Like I'm not in love with We Happy Few. I really enjoyed Contrast. Like these are unique looking, feeling games. But this looked more expansive than I anticipated. I love the stop motion art style. The only thing that kind of felt like a killer with this gameplay was when the combat started up, not because the combat looked bad. The combat looked mechanically sound, looked fun. I'm excited to get my hands on it, but the music that played wasn't working. And it's funny because afterwards, the music really picks up in the exploration part. So it just seemed like vibe killer music for what was happening on screen. But I tried to separate myself from that, look at the gameplay as it was, and I thought it looked really good. I mean, the floating in the air, the drifting, the kind of openness of the world, and how like when you beat up an enemy, you'd see this entire set of like trees disappear, and just kind of had a good flow to it. Between this game and Fable, there were moments where I went like, wow, Xbox is really turning the corner on publishing quality. Like I think they've been putting out great games for the most part this generation. Not every single one's going to speak to me like an Age of Empires or, you know, Microsoft Flight Simulator, but the quality's risen. But it really felt with certain showings here, I went, oh, they're getting there now. Like they're finally starting to push the limits here. Not to include just with South of Midnight's character banter. I was just really impressed with what this game showed off. So I am very excited for whenever this one's coming out. Looks like it's coming along really well. Afterwards, we saw World of Warcraft: The War Within coming out August 26th. I'm not gonna lie, if there was any kind of, I put this in quotes, buzzkill during the showcase, it would be Blizzard and their cinematic trailers. The new family member did not show up in style outside of Black Ops 6, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, their cinematic trailers, very cool, very stylish, especially Diablo 4's, very cool, very emotional, you know, but it's just, I want to see the game, right? And so World of Warcraft showing up is meaningful for PC players. Seeing that it's coming out August 26th is great. It's nearby. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm a big WoW fan like I was when I was a kid transitioning from RuneScape to my next big MMO, but it's cool to see it's still getting a lot of support and that Xbox is bringing that into the showcase. It's more of an optic statement to me than, oh, I'm going to go ahead and play this. This is very exciting. Surprisingly, we got brand new Metal Gear Solid 3 gameplay, and I say surprisingly because I really wasn't expecting this one until a release date was ready, and when it showed up, I went, okay, maybe they're actually going to show something off here date-wise. No release date, but this game looks phenomenal. Like, much more exploration, like getting up top of buildings and all these different types of like ways to cloak your character. I mean, they're going in depth. It has been, in fairness, years since I have played Metal Gear Solid 3, so it's possible I'm forgetting certain mechanics from the game, but for me, a lot of things I saw looked and felt new. Hearing David Hayter's voice again, love that. But yeah, this game looks fantastic. Really itching for that release date, and I hope that they give Metal Gear Solid 2 the same treatment one of these days. That's my personal favorite. Soon thereafter, we saw Sea of Thieves Season 13 coming out July 25th. I don't have much to say about this one because, well, I'm not a big Sea of Thieves fan. Not that it's a bad game, just not my style. Not really into the live service stuff. So moving on, Flintlock Siege of Dawn coming out July 18th. So a little bit over a month from now. This is a day one Game Pass title. You saw this at the Xbox Showcase, I believe 2 years ago. It got delayed out of 2023. Now it's got a release date. It's coming out very soon, and I'm pumped for this one as well. It's cool to see a Souls-like game, as they proudly state in their trailer, that's going in on style. A lot of movement, a lot of verticality. I was thinking like, oh, this is gonna be like an action RPG or something like that. And to see it was a Souls-like was a bit of a surprise. So I'm keen to see the angle they're taking here. I know Souls-like is just becoming flooded more and more. There is gonna be that point, I think, eventually where everyone's gonna be like, okay, we'll just wait for the next FromSoft game, maybe the next Lies of P or something like that. Like, it's gonna be a high bar to pass. But right now, I think there's still a little room for smaller devs to give more. I'm curious what Flintlock is gonna deliver. I thought what we saw here looked really fantastic. Then we saw Age of Mythology Retold. September 4th is when this one is releasing. I'm not a massive Age of fan. For me, Aura History Untold is what I'm holding myself back for, and Frostpunk 2. These are the two PC style games with a lot of like choice and consequence, or building up your civilization and going to war, that sort of thing, where I'm going to focus on those games. Things like Age of Mythology don't really speak to me as much, but I can totally see why this was a big announcement for Age of fans, because that fan base is rabid and they're ready for more, and here you go. So really cool to see this was announced there. Then we see what was one of the stars of the show, Perfect Dark. For all the slander this game got, wow, I thought it showed out. It was worth the wait. I mean, the Mirror's Edge style parkour mixed with the tactical espionage that Perfect Dark is known for, the kind of environmental and NPC interaction that you see in immersive sims, maybe like a Prey or a Dishonored, you know, copying someone's voice and then using it to get through a gate. Wow, this just, I mean, the first person counters, looked so good. Everything about this game looked so good. And I gotta say, I'll be the first to admit, as someone who covered the reports, I had very low confidence in this game because it was just gone for so long. Hearing that most of the team has left, I don't know what the story's gonna be like, but now seeing what it is, oh, I have confidence. If this is what we were waiting for the whole time, I am ready for it. No release date, unfortunately, but look, seeing that has increased my hype and my patience dramatically. Like, oh, that's what you're doing? Okay, all right, take your time. Take your time. I want to see more whenever it's ready. Then we move on to another star of the show, Fable, coming out in 2025. Wow. Look, this is what I told y'all. I told everyone when Fable showed up last year, like, that's not gameplay. I went, they said it's gameplay. It showed gameplay. It just looked that good. Now we see it running. The open world, the exploration, the NPCs, the city. You believe it now? That was gameplay, and it looked so good. I mean, this is a racing studio. What? Okay, all I gotta see right now for Fable is the choices. My personal favorite Fable, I don't know if this is a hot take or not, because many people love Fable 2, but mine is the original. I just love the focus on choices and alternate outcomes, and especially with lost chapters, that really pulls the experience together, where you can have a story where you are just the most evil human being ever, farting on everyone, killing everyone else. Like, it is diabolical, and it is awesome. And I would love to see with a game of this scope and scale and fidelity, and the combat looking as good as it does, and the cutscenes looking as great as they do, I would love to get my hands on some real choice and consequence on top of this, as Fable has already been known to do, right? Are you the hero or are you the villain? So I'm very keen to learn more. Again, I truly believe this is going to be the next big exclusive that Xbox is going to build around, as in like, hey, this is next year's developer direct target, and this is the big holiday title for 2025. Like, that is my personal prediction. Perhaps it's my own hype speaking a little bit, but yeah, this looked sick. Afterwards, we saw Fragpunk. I can see this game getting mischaracterized a bit. I think people are very tired of hero shooters, so I totally get that. And I'm kind of there with you, but I'm open to trying these out. And so when I see a rule-changing, card-based 5v5 hero shooter where you can like snap a card and bring up grass somewhere, or you can snap a card and like get a different weapon, I think that's actually a really cool idea. And I'm trying to think of the dynamic gameplay potential there, which this is different to me. I know we've seen a lot of hero shooters, but this is a different gameplay element. So I'm trying to keep an open mind here. Like many of you, I'm fatigued and tired of hero shooters. And I learned with Concord from PlayStation how I kind of jumped the gun early on thinking like, oh, this actually looks better than I expected. And then learning more and going, yeah, I don't know about this one actually. So I don't want to jump the gun too hard out of learning a lesson there. But I will say that I think Fragpunk looks pretty interesting, pretty different. So I was pleasantly surprised by that. Speaking of different games, Winter Burrow. Early access 2025, day one Game Pass. You know, they always say it looks peak, but I'm going to say it looks squeak, I'm afraid. I mean, look at this thing, man. A cute little mouse just scurrying about. Survival game. It's kind of like Don't Starve meets a mouse, and it looks interesting, looks different. I love the little mouse like knitting in his rocking chair. I don't know, it's got an adorable energy to it, yet it's still a survival game. I've lost my itch for survival titles, so I wasn't like out of my seat for this, but the cutesy art style, the idea of running around as like a little mouse, like I'm cool with this. This is interesting to me, so I'm looking forward to playing this one. Mixtape shows up. This is like the only game of the show I looked at and went like, this is just totally not for me. It's coming 2025, day one on Game Pass. I could see if I was like, wow, I'm dating myself here, like 10 years younger. So if I was like 18, I'd be like kind of about this, you know, in my emo phase. But all I'll say is there is another game on this list that we're going to get to in a couple of entries here that is more what I played during my college, late high school time that fit the emo vibe for me, and a certain character's returning. So all I'm saying is I wasn't really into Mixtape. Then this other game got announced, kind of swept the legs out from under, and I went, yeah, we will not be touching Mixtape. I'm sorry. So after this, we see Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 coming out November 19th, as it was originally leaked. This game, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm going to be all about a flight simulator game, not because it looks bad, but just it's not my speed. When I play sim games, like I like Cooking Simulator, I love Thief Simulator. Thief Simulator is so much fun to me. I don't know if I got like a kleptomaniac bug in me because I love games like Thief, I love Dishonored, I love Thief Simulator, like let me steal stuff. So I like sim games, just I'm not crazy about flight sim games, but I think I'm gonna actually try this one because you get different roles that you can play as we saw in the original reveal trailer. So this one didn't show me much I didn't know, but it looks beautiful. It's cool that it just captures like the whole real world. You get to take on these roles. So I'll probably be checking it out if I have the time. It's looking like the holiday period is really busy, so I'm gonna have to pick and choose my battles there. But yeah, Microsoft Flight Simulator 24 coming November 19th. Look pretty solid. Elder Scrolls Online briefly showed up, claiming all DLC is available for free for a limited time, plus Gold Road is dropping on June 18th, so you can check that out. It's the 10-year anniversary for Elder Scrolls Online. I still think it's a great MMO. I was wrong about one of my predictions here in that I was very surprised to not see the new IP here from ZeniMax Online Studios. I thought it was time, 10-year anniversary for Elder Scrolls Online, but it appears we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. I don't know, do we kick it down the road to Developer Direct 2025? We'll see, but Elder Scrolls Online is still fantastic if you haven't checked it out and you're looking for that Elder Scrolls experience, something to stave yourself off as you await that inevitable Oblivion remaster remake. You could pick worse options than this. I really do think ESO is still really good. All right, now it's time for what I think was one of the best surprises of the summer. I can't believe Life is Strange Double Exposure is real. I'm not like a diehard Life is Strange fan, but the first game I love. Life is Strange 1 is one of my favorite, if you will, Telltale style experiences. When I was still into that type of game, Life is Strange 1 was amazing because of the story between Max and Chloe. I still think about that ending to this day. I love the first Life is Strange. And now we have pretty much a sequel story for Max coming out October 29th. Like the whole time I'm sitting there going, is that really Max? Is that really Max? Did they bring Max back? Like, what a great idea. And you can see, are they kind of retreading old ground? Like, oh, best friend died. How can I undo this? I haven't used my powers in years. Can I still use this? She seems like she's getting new powers. I am so excited for this one, man. You have no idea. I don't stream really at all anymore, but when I did used to stream, especially over on Twitch, one of my favorite experiences was finishing Life is Strange 1 with the stream chat, doing every episode together. Just what an amazing game. So while I haven't played like Life is Strange 2 or all the other entries they've done, Life is Strange 1, I really adore. And to get a sequel to Max's story, I'm going to be all over this one. Then we see Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Surprisingly, didn't get a release date, coming 2024, but this game, no concerns at all. This game is going to be fantastic. Fantastic. I've said this for a million games this show, but I can't wait. Like the first person gameplay looks really good, highly immersive, like you'd expect from machine games with the cutscene quality. Like, it was so funny. You know when that guy's sitting there going, choo choo? That's me on the hype train, all right? Like, I am all aboard checking out Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Wish they committed to a release date for this one. Not sure what the wait for here is. My speculation is that maybe they're thinking, like, let's see what Nintendo's up to. This holiday's already kind of stacked. What else are we releasing in 2025? Can we spread this out a little bit more? Something that I had advised in many podcasts and videos Xbox do. I want more games, but we already have a ton to play if it wasn't already apparent. So having a couple options spread out into 2025, giving these developers more time to polish things up, I don't think would hurt. We'll see what happens, but right now it's coming 2024 and it looks amazing. Then another big surprise for the show, Mecha Break, coming 2025 with a beta this year. I mean, look, when I saw it, a couple of buddies of mine were like kind of trolling going, oh, Armored Core better. But I'm like, no, wait, check this thing out. The melee combat, sick. The aerial combat, amazing. Like, I couldn't tell at times what the heck was going on screen. How am I controlling all of this? But fast, frenetic, chaotic, lots of customization options. Very, very into this one here. Very much want to check it out. So if I can get my hands on the beta, I will be checking out Mecha Break. Then we see Wu Chang Fallen Feather 2025 Day 1 Game Pass. Xbox has their finger on the pulse of this Souls-like market, don't they? They got Wo Long, they got Lies of P. So for me, it's just a trust system now. Oh, you found another Souls-like style game? Okay, I'll be there. I'll be there because this is probably going to be amazing because they have not missed yet. Someone in that building at Xbox has a great eye for Souls-like talent, and they may have found another one because this had deflections and great animation work, and the world looked amazing and interesting. Like, wow, what a great pickup here for Game Pass. So 2025 already looking stacked, and that's what's so exciting about this showcase. Some people I think would walk away with a complaint, and I get it, like, oh, a lot of 2025 stuff, but we already knew so much was happening at the end of 2024. So to be that close to it now, we're in June, and to see what else is lining up for next year is it's tremendously exciting. Avowed showed back up. Again, surprisingly, no release date. I thought this one would be at least a guarantee for a release date, but it appears our predictions were wrong on that. Avowed does not have a release date yet, just a 2024 release window. Now, I will take my words back on this. Remember, I was calling for a delay, and who knows, I may end up being wrong at the end of the day. I was under the impression that every developer direct game was going to get a release date here. It just felt like if you're going to show back up, I can understand how some people felt with like Indie and Avowed. You didn't learn much more, but I think Avowed was the more important re-debut, if you will, because in my opinion, with Developer Direct, I saw it and went, look, as Matty, I think this looks great, and just by systems alone, I will play a lot of this game. But quality-wise, I had a few concerns. Oh, this trailer wiped all that away. It looked way better. The impact for the combat, way better. The world, the detail, the animation work, everything looked cleaned up. Really, this project has come together. I was truly impressed, where I don't know if my delay prediction is really going to stand. I think maybe this one actually may come out this year. It certainly looks like it's more close to ready than I anticipated, so very excited for Avowed. You know, that this was the rejuvenation I needed, where it was more like okay, it's just because I like the mechanics, but now seeing the quality there, like, oh, Obsidian, I should have never doubted you. This looked amazing. So very, very pumped for Avowed coming out this year. Atomfall was another game we saw. It's coming out in Game Pass in 2025. Really interesting blend of post-apocalyptic, but then I saw mechs, and then some of these caves gave me like fantasy elements. When I saw Rebellion, I went, oh, they're doing another Sniper Elite game? Let's go. Like, I love Sniper Elite, but to see this was kind of surprising, kind of interesting. And so, I mean, look, for me as a, what looks like a post-apocalyptic game, as a big post-apocalyptic anything fan, yeah, count me in. We'll definitely be checking out Atomfall. Afterwards, we saw Assassin's Creed Shadows gameplay for the first time. This is dropping November 15th, and ask me, look, the movement tech looked really good. We had a grapple hook. There was a seamlessness to the movement that we haven't seen in a while in Assassin's Creed, so I'm holding my breath on that one. I'm really hoping like we're going back to kind of Unity style parkour. Combat looked a lot more visceral than what I'm used to from Assassin's Creed. Like even something like I'd say Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where it tried to go full action combat, it had like a Ubisoft jank to it that some people, like I feel with Bethesda Game Studios jank, find very appealing. But for me, just feels a little off, but this combat looked really solid. So as someone who loves Ghost of Tsushima, I will say I'm surprised at how compelling Assassin's Creed Shadows look, especially because I saw little things like knocking out the lights and went, oh, they're going back to the Splinter Cell vibe, like more stealth focus, interactive environment. So look, I am pumped. I think Ubisoft is set for a really good next couple of months between Star Wars Outlaws and Assassin's Creed Shadows. I will be there for both. This looks fantastic. Then we saw Stalker 2 coming out September 5th, and the gunplay for this game looks amazing. Very weighty, very heavy, kind of post-apocalyptic feel to it. I know it's not exactly that, but I get it now. I get why people were telling me so often, like, Matty, you love Fallout? Go play Stalker. This game, tremendous looking. And so that was really the final gameplay reveal of the show. Sarabon hits the stage. We get an all-digital Series X announcement dropping this holiday. She confirms they're still working on next gen. Surprisingly, maybe not surprisingly, I should say, it was just my own personal belief, but I was really hoping they would go in on the handheld announcement. We know it's got to be happening. There's been so many teases, so many leaks, so many bits of documentation just suggesting like it's going to happen. I was really hoping this would be the year because I wanted a very meaningful, tangible commitment to hardware that wasn't like a re-release of something we already know. But I do think it was good to stand out there and talk about hardware. They didn't linger on it too long. They didn't want to make empty promises. I can respect that. I personally was hoping for handheld, but I'm not too disappointed that they went out there and did what I was hoping they would do, which is like, hey, commit to hardware. So great job on that. And then they said they had one more thing, and it was not what I think any of us were expecting. We all heard the rumors. Gears is coming back. Gears is coming back. Oh, it's going to be a collection. Oh, it's going to be Gears 6. Nope. Gears prequel. Gears E-Day. Dom, Marcus, back again. You know, because it's funny, like, you heard Marcus's voice actor, and I was like, that doesn't really look like Marcus. Like, he looks younger here. I was like, are they doing a prequel? Now, already the Coalition has stepped out and said they're not gonna not do Gears 6. And if you've played Gears 5, I will admit, this feels a touch. Like, I'm not gonna complain about another Dom Marcus story, by the way, but if you've played Gears 5 and you know how it ends, no spoilers here, this feels a little weak in that, like, when are we going to get our answers to that ending? Like, there was a big cliffhanger, I'll just say. When are we going to get our answers on what happens there. So edge of my seat here on that one. But hey, look, no complaints about a Dom Marcus storyline here. Gears, E-Day, very excited to learn more. And it's good to see the Coalition get out there for once with their own game and not like, hey, we helped this team with Unreal Engine. Oh, we went over here and supported this title. Like, it's cool to see them get their moment to end the showcase, cap things off, and be like, we're making a game, by the way. And here it is. And I think for those of you looking for the 360 vibes, this is a really good move optically, I think, for Xbox in general, just to have like Dom and Marcus back as the face of Gears once more, as they, I imagine, are going to cook Gears 6. You know, this reminds me a bit of Wolfenstein 3. Like, oh yeah, we're going to get Wolf 3, right? And it just like hasn't happened. So maybe Gears 6 will happen down the line. Coalition is saying they're not walking away from it, so we'll see. But then afterwards, just to wrap things up, Black Ops 6. I know this video is going on long, but I mean, this is the nature of an Xbox showcase. They're massive. And so to my surprise, this was mostly focused on gameplay elements and the campaign. Full multiplayer reveal coming later. Zombies was only lightly teased, confirming round-based zombies is back. And nothing was shown on Warzone, but Black Ops 6 is dropping October 25th. And look, I know there's a little bit more hype because this is the first, you know, Xbox promoted Call of Duty title. They kind of inherited Modern Warfare 3. So this feels like the first one that's like theirs, so to say, even though it's been in development for many years before the acquisition. Plus, adding Game Pass in the mix, like, oh, I don't got to pay any extra money for this. Oh, great. I'll check this out. With that in mind, though, as someone who's played most Call of Duty entries, played competitively for a while, won a little money that way. That was where I was trending with my gaming career before I said, I like single player games more. Look, the movement system in this game will be a game changer. There will never be another Call of Duty without it. And if they dare do that, I think it'll be a problem if they try to walk away from it. That omnidirectional movement system, when they added dolphin diving in Black Ops 1, game changer in the terms of movement. When they added sliding later on, game changer in the terms of movement. You can never have Call of Duty without this movement system. I am a firm believer of that, because when I saw that, I went, oh, this game's going to be different. It's going to feel different just by that alone. The movement, the difference in sliding, proning, not being this ridiculous, like rotating on your stomach thing anymore. This is the first true, I feel, addition to movement that I was excited about since the dolphin dive, since the slide. And I say that because some people really like the jetpacks and the wall running. Not me. Always like boots on the ground. Thought there was more room for exploration there. And here we have it. They also have Raven on the campaign. As someone who loves Raven, who made one of my favorite Call of Duty campaigns recently, to have them cooking this campaign after they made Black Ops Cold War's campaign, and not only that, to bring back Adler, my boy, not only that, but to continue the story after Black Ops 2, one of the best ever Call of Duty stories. Are you kidding me? That is peak right there, man. Give me that all day. I'm not a Call of Duty hype beast. That shit is authentic, man. Let's go. Like, that is the perfect presentation there. Prestige system back. Time to Kill looked great. This may be an all-timer COD. I'm not even kidding, man. Like, look, you know me. I don't get hyped about Call of Duty anymore. But as someone who's had so much experience with this franchise and walked away because it just continues to make the same mistakes or release broken products or unfinished products, like last year, which was DLC, and then you look at this, what a world of a difference. This looks amazing, and I hope it does really well for them, really well for Xbox, really well for Activision. I was blown away by just how good I thought Call of Duty looked. We'll see with the multiplayer reveal what else they are doing. Jeez, man, what a showcase, right? Here we are. I don't know how long this video will be after I edit everything down, but I'm sure it'll be over 30 minutes and just, wow. So that's all I had to say. I'm going to go rest my voice a little bit here. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you saw during the showcase that you really liked. And with that, take excellent care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next video. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.